Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. My name is Derek, and today I'm joined by Karen.
Hi.
And this is our general hospital coverage for the week of June 2nd to June 6th, 2025. Tommy will roll the credits, and we'll get right into it. All right. So, crazy week, but a lot of developments, a lot of interesting things I wasn't expecting to happen, but it was fun. All right, so we'll start with Geo.
Oh,
Geo arrives at Sonny's house, looking for answers. Sonny says he did not know that he was his grandson. Lois never told him, and Lois wouldn't have known that Sonny was his grandfather when he was born because Olivia kept that Dante was her son a secret.
yeah.
And Geo assumes that Dante still hates him, and he's reluctant to bond with him. But Sonny tells him to give him some time. So Dante then comes in and talks to Sonny about the last 22 years he missed with his son. But we'll get back to that until a minute. But we'll go back. We'll go to the Quartermain mansion where Gloria defends Lois. I hated this scene. It made me mad.
It made you angry? I don't know. I feel like I understand their perspective from 20 years ago, why everybody behaved the way they did. And I thought it was kind of in line with how the Cirillo family acts. So I didn't really. I'm just sick of everyone yelling at Lois, to be honest.
Yeah, it is getting old. But I just think that not Brooklyn, Lois and Gloria have no accountability at all, and they don't see the error of their ways. And
That's true, because they don't believe they did anything wrong.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's not going to change because I feel like it's like they followed the spirit of the law, but not the letter of the law and what Brooklyn asked them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooklyn is like, "But I asked you to give the kid up for closed adoption." And they're like, "Yeah, but you said make sure the kid was loved." So we made sure the kid was loved. And then stopped any and all thought after that because they were like, the safest place for Geo would be within the family.
Right. So Brooklyn wonders how Lois and Gloria felt that what they were doing was right after seeing how shattered Geo was on the stage and that his whole life was a lie. So the conversation's already tense enough as it is, and then Geo walks in.
Right.
And Geo just came back to grab the rest of his things. He didn't want to see them. He does find out that Brooklyn was in the dark about being his son, but he is still upset that Brooklyn gave him up, even though she was too young to raise a child. But
they don't. I don't think Geo's not thinking clearly yet. He's still very upset. So, I mean, but you gave me away. Like, she was a child, Geo. Like, you'll learn that eventually. Do you think like if she was the same age as Rocco was when Rocco went to that party and drank and collapsed and all that, and you're going to look at Rocco and be like, oh, he did that because he's a kid. And then you're going to look at her and because she got pregnant, she's supposed to be a mature adult. She was still around the same age. She did not know what was going on. She was a high schooler.
Yeah. But yeah. So we'll go. So the Metro Court pool was back this week, and that was a lot of fun things happen around the pool.
Summer time for the pool to be open.
A lot of cringy things happen around the pool. It was an interesting.
True.
That. So we'll start with Kai and Trina. Kai and Trina bump into Emma at the pool, and she's not happy when Jocelyn arrives as well. Jocelyn sees Professor Dalton and walks towards him. Emma complains to Trina and Kai about her stealing the research assistant position. Trina says that Jocelyn must have earned it if she did get it. So Emma's like, whatever.
It's hard for Emma to walk into this situation, right, with the resentment she carries towards Jocelyn. Sit down next to Jocelyn's best friend, who she just recently met, trash talk Jocelyn, and expect Trina to be on her side.
Yeah.
That's just... You wouldn't even do that. You'd be smart enough to keep your mouth shut. You'd just be like, you'd think that resentful crap, but you wouldn't say it because that's her best friend if you want to stay friends with her.
Yeah. So
Seems not smart.
So Jocelyn goes up to Dalton. He invites them to join them. Sidwell's there. Jordan is there. And they talk about their vetting process, whatever that was.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They said something about a vetting process. Professor Dalton needs to know.
From the city. So what Jordan was saying was that underwriting the ball didn't give you as good of a bump in PR as you wanted.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So now we need to work on your image because you're being vetted by the city now. They're watching you.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so Professor Stone says he needs to trust his inner circle and the people that work for him because he's been burned in the past. Dalton talked about developing a new path to clean energy, and then Jocelyn stepped away to take a phone call, which we'll find out all where she went later.
Yep.
Jordan talks with Dalton alone after Sybil takes off, but eventually gets distracted as he admires Emma in her bikini, which is the cringeworthy part.
And no, it's criminal. It's criminal, is what it is. He is and she's aware of it. He's sexualizing her.
Oh, she even like pulls it down to give him a better view, which was like really
gross. But I mean,
yeah,
she's an adult, but he's an adultier adult, and he shouldn't be doing
it. 50.
It's just so weird. It's uncomfortable.
Thing about it is, but I know he's older than me. So.
But it's like it hails back that we did call that their relationship couldn't just be platonic from the weird behavior between them.
Oh yeah,
and also that he followed her, like he followed her from California to here. Why?
Yeah, something definitely happened between them in California. So,
well, I hope they didn't sleep together because ew. Is this because I'm older now? Like I'm older and I see like these, you'd be like, ooh, an older man. And now like that I'm the older woman, I'm like, that guy's disgusting.
So G is dressed as a lifeguard and he explains to Emma about his summer gig. He tells Emma about his run-in with Lois and Gloria. Gio suggests that Sonny is the only family member that he can trust, and although he was having doubts about Sonny, he's kind of on board with him. Sonny also is meeting with Laura at the pool, and Gio confronts him and wonders if his grandfather was keeping tabs on him now. Laura assures Gio that it was her idea to meet Sonny and not his, and then she thanks Gio for his help with Rocco and his alcohol poisoning, which I liked.
She very subtly told him to mind his own business. Like she was like, she was very sweet and very like comforting, but she was like, this conversation ain't about you, babe, in the nicest way possible. And like, I think the way she handled it relaxed Gio because then he didn't feel like he was being observed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then slimy Ezra Boyle pops up.
Starting to like be fond of this guy because he's so like over the top evil in a very funny way.
He's very evil in an over the top funny way, but
yeah.
So he live streams Sonny's meeting with Sonny. Ezra gets smug and he starts taunting Laura. That's all he does now is taunt Laura. He doesn't really do much.
He doesn't really have a storyline since his prostitute left him.
And then Gio nudges him into the pool, which was fun.
I like that. I really think Gio's growing on me every time. I think he's great. I think he's cute. I don't really like the storyline, as I've said previously, but I do like the evolution of the character. I did like that he knocked Ezra into the pool, more so because it helped Laura out than Sonny, but I don't care.
Yeah. So Dalton approaches Emma, who in her bikini, and
creepily.
Yeah, and he says there's no hard feelings. He hopes there's no hard feelings about the research position. Emma played up how jealous she was about Jocelyn now, and then Emma has another possible position lined up at a cosmetic lab, so everything is fine. Then they decide they're going to meet up later, which is gross.
Because it's like incredibly flirty and suggestive, the entire conversation. And good for Emma for being able to like, I guess, like wind this guy around her finger. It's just, I don't know. I can't get over like his age gap there.
Yeah. And then your favorite person in the world, Vaughn, is spying on them. He looked, so his hair like that, he looked like Jack Wagner.
A little bit. But like, it was so funny because I texted Derek because I was like, jump scare, Vaughn.
Yes.
Because he was just like, he wasn't there. And then, he was there. And I was like, that's the first time I actually felt like he was spying properly.
Right. He was spying
He was
properly.
in the background the entire time probably. And we just didn't notice him because he wasn't in any of the scenes really. He was just at a table in the background. And then he just gets up and like the camera follows him walking out of the scene, but like no one in the scene is aware of him. And I thought that was great cinematography.
Yeah.
Good direction.
So Brennan gets called away. Yvonne gets called away by Brennan though. So he goes to Brennan's office and he gives him updates on Anna's suspicions regarding Dalton. Brennan points out that they need Dalton to continue his research and the WSB needs to get hands on whatever it is that he's doing. Jocelyn is too green to go up against him, so Vaughn vowed to handle Anna instead. So after summoning Jack Brennan to her office, Anna quizzes him about Professor Dalton and recaps the lab drama that happened in California that Emma told him about. Anna talks to Dalton about she thinks that they're working on something dangerous. Brennan plays dumb about Brennan and acts like Anna was just being an overprotective grandmother.
He did a good job.
He did. He really did. I believed him.
I did not believe him. I never believe anything that man says. He's a WSB spy.
Right. True.
I also think like now that we're like really into this storyline, that maybe Emma is who should have been chosen to work as a WSB spy. She was already in the right position and she's got the right attitude and she doesn't mind being sneaky.
But she already may be one. We just don't know. I don't know.
Maybe she works the DVX and she's helping the DVX steal the information for green energy.
Yeah, that is possible.
Listen, very well beloved characters have turned out to be DVX agents in the past. So
yeah,
it happens.
So Brennan leaves and Anna talks to Felicia about the situation. And Felicia thinks that Anna's overcompensating with Emma because she missed out on so much time with Robin, which she may be right about. But
I don't know. I think Felicia is just like trying to keep Anna from running off into another crazy scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But come on, where's her private investigator instincts?
Yeah, I know. Felicia is definitely would be well aware that something's up. Like
she's an Aztec princess, Derek. She should know.
She is. But they probably forgot about that, I'm sure.
How can you forget about that? She was an Aztec princess.
I know, she was. Okay, so...
I mean, she still is. She still is a princess. Which means Maxie is a princess, and so is Georgie. And little...
and what's her name?
James is a princess.
Bailey Lou.
Yeah, Bailey Lou, princess.
All right, so let's see. So we'll get back to Anna. Anna talks to Professor Dalton. I'm sorry. Anna talks to
everyone. Anna just walks around town.
She tells Jason about this, and he updates Dalton on her legal activities. She wants Jason to keep an eye on him. Brennan tries to downplay things, but Anna is convinced that things are definitely going on with Dalton.
Uh-huh.
And now Jocelyn gets tangled up in this as well because she's afraid that Jocelyn's getting tangled as well because she is the research assistant, but she does not know that she's...
Yeah, Anna's worried that this whole scenario is going to blow up in Jocelyn's face because she doesn't know what she's walking into. Meanwhile, Jocelyn's a WSB spy. Also, she asks Jason to help because she's like, they'll be watching me, but they won't be watching you. I'm like, wouldn't they? You guys are buddies. Everybody knows you're buddies. But I think it's cool for the plot, so I'm rolling with it.
Yeah. So Brennan receives Sidwell information from Jocelyn that he was sponsoring Professor Dalton research. So he did not know that. So that was very interesting to him. Brennan tells Jocelyn about his Anna concerns and he warns her not to run interference and insists that she should act surprised if Anna comes around with questions. So, all right. So let's get to Natalia. Natalia was...
Yay! Natalia, I love her. She's my favorite.
She's the best. So we're at the Metrocorp pool again. It was just like a character this week. I feel like the Metrocorp pool. So Natalia saw it, Marco's help, because she wants to mend fences with his sister Blaze, who's enjoying her on tour, but Blaze is not returning her calls.
Can I just summarize this as I have tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas is basically what she says to Marco. She's like, she is not trying to be okay with Blaze's sexuality. She's not okay with Marco's. She has not changed any of her beliefs, thoughts, or opinions and doesn't understand why neither of her children really want to deal with her.
Yeah.
So she gets drunk instead.
Yeah, she gets drunk, and actually Sonny comforts her, which was surprising because he should still be mad at her, but whatever. So it was funny. I actually thought that Natalia was gonna like hit her head and fall into the pool like Brooke on Melrose Place style.
Oh my god, that would have been so funny.
I was like, yes, sure, thank you.
Yes, knock her unconscious. End this torment.
But we did get a great scene though. Natalia was arrested for driving under the influence, which is great.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Marco is confiding to Lucas about his troubles with his mom, which I liked, and also Lucas also mentioned Bobby and their relationship, which I thought was really nice. And they do mention Bobby a lot, which I really like.
Well, they should.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, so let's talk about another one of our favorite people, Lulu. Right now,
Right.
anyway.
Look, I don't hate Lulu.
I don't hate her either, but I'm mad.
I think she's in a very not great storyline for her.
Yeah.
And she's another one who has no idea what accountability looks like.
Right. That's true. She was literally taking notes from Christina about that this week.
Christina wouldn't know accountability if it like walked up and punched her in the face, to be honest.
No. So let's see. Rocco finds out via social media that Gio is his brother, and he asks Lulu about it, but Dante interrupts and says yes, that he and Brooklyn are Gio's parents. Lulu also admitted to her investigation. She really sugarcoats this to him. It's very like, oh, well, I just kind of found out, and like Gio just found out. Like, that's not.
Everybody just found out it was super accidental. Nobody intended for any of this to happen, especially not me.
Right. Sure, you didn't. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't. I realized that Rocco's a child, but I didn't really like his reaction because a lot of people just jump to blaming Brooklyn for everything, and it's just. I know he was kind of led there by the way Lulu told this story, but I don't know. It feels very negative towards adoption, doesn't it?
It does. Mm-hmm. So Laura then shows up and she gives Lulu a little smile and says she got her updates on what happened to the nurses all, and things sounded very eventful. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see a scene between the two of them, and I really wanted to see what Laura had to say about this. But
same thing she always says: mind your business, stand back, be a good mom to Rocco.
Yeah, well,
stop getting involved in other people's business.
Wow.
When you're wearing a pink prom dress, always carry an AK-47. You know, Laura stuff.
That is Laura stuff. Yeah, you're right. I guess we didn't need to see. We kind of know what she would have said.
Memorize the Ice Princess formula, so 30 years later you can use it to show up Robert. I love that kind of stuff. Do that more.
So for me, this was the most disappointing scene of the week for me because Brooklyn finally arrives to confront Lulu, and it was very lackluster in my opinion. I just needed Brooklyn to punch her in the face and be done and walk out. That's all I needed. I did not need this confrontation. It wasn't even a good confrontation. It basically was the same argument they've had for weeks.
I feel the exact same way. Yeah. I feel like the conversation really didn't need to happen like you, because they didn't say anything new. Nothing new was discussed. Nothing new was hashed. It was just the same tired argument we've been dealing with for the last couple months.
The only thing that I did like is that Brooklyn vowed to make Lulu pay. So I'm wondering what Brooklyn's going to do to her. So we'll see.
I hope it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. I hope she just makes Lulu's life really inconvenient forever. Like, that would be so funny.
That would be really funny.
Like, if she drew... They never do this on soap because they always want the comeuppance and stuff. But, like, what if she just did really annoying stuff to her forever for the rest of the time both of them are on the show? Yeah. Like, she goes to get her dry cleaning. Someone else has accidentally picked it up. You know, this just really weird, annoying things. As I'm saying this would never happen. It's just a dream of mine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to Alexis, Laura, Marco, and the Dolos storyline. Alexis is in the office, and she explains to Laura about the investments in Dolos.
$10 million.
Yes.
Come on.
And Laura's like, I didn't think you were going to be so proactive about this. Like, that's... So I feel like Laura didn't have time to look over the paperwork that Suzanne brought in, and Suzanne...
Can we give, like, flowers to her? Because Suzanne, like, the secretary, she's killing it. She just keeps dropping in with, like, the most. She's doing the most. Like she went, like when she went out on a limb to get that weird tea, and then she's coming in with the paperwork because she proactively printed all the paperwork for Laura, and it's like, girl, you need to relax. This is a minimum wage job.
And I just figured out who she played before. I knew I'd seen her on the show before. She played the psychic that predicted Franco was going to die.
Back in the day, a long time ago now.
Yeah.
I love that they brought her back. She has great comedic timing, and I'm enjoying her performance. Sometimes General Hospital introduces these kind of background characters like Reginald the Butler, and they become, or Stella, or even Alice, and they come in and they just become a huge part of the show. Yuri's like that. I love it.
So Marcos then comes in and he's looking over the Dulles paperwork and he says it looks like a money laundering situation, and he raises his concerns to Alexis. But Alexis downplays this and says there's no money laundering and she's confident in all her investments. And
she told him to mind his own business.
Basically, I feel like Marcos is going to figure this out, but
he's already figured it out. He just has to figure out why. So like he knows what's happening. Now he has to figure out why.
Right.
He's smart. He'll figure it out quick, especially with his experience with his father's business. Right. I'm starting to really like him. I kind of, you know, because I'm like pro Brad Lucas. I wasn't really excited about his introduction and kind of the way he was introduced because it felt kind of fishy. Still does. But he's growing on me every time he's on. I like him more.
Yeah.
Unlike Vaughn, who every time he's on, I like him less.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. We'll get to Lucky and Liz now. Lucky does end up coming clean to her about Christina and her role in the car accident, which I loved, and I thought Liz's reaction was amazing. She's a great person, and I'm so glad that she forgave him.
It was the smart thing to do because the walls are caving in on that scenario, and Lucky got on top of it before it could bite him in the butt. And she reacted pretty much the way I assumed she would. If he hadn't told her, it would have been on site. But like because he did confess, she was just annoyed with it. Not really. She was like, annoyed.
Yeah. Lucky insists that Christina learned her lesson. And even though even though Elizabeth isn't pleased about this, she decides to keep quiet for Christina and Alexis's sake. So
she does it more for the people around them. Like she does it for Molly. She does it for Aiden. She's like, these people involved, that sucks. But why are we going to damage everybody's life for this scenario? And it's smart, and I understand it. Like I understand why she did that. It's in line with her personality.
Yeah. Well, once Lucky leaves, she finds an engagement ring box near the sofa. So he's going to propose. And he does. And he surprises her with a romantic dinner in the park, and they share a dance. They share some memories. Lucky proposes. It's very sweet, and Liz turns it down, though. And I don't blame her. I think her reasoning was correct. It was very sudden.
They laid the groundwork for her saying no from the minute he showed up, because she kept saying, I am not convinced that he will be able to stay in one place.
Right.
And when she brought her concerns to Laura was like, I also do not believe that he will be okay staying in the same place. I'm not sure that that's true. So she made an informed choice, and he understood it. He was hurt, but he understood it.
Yeah.
And it made me sad because I do love them together.
I know. It was very sad. Liz gets emotional, admits she loves Lucky, but, the answer is still no. Lucky ultimately decides he is going to leave Port Charles, which we knew, which lays the groundwork for Jonathan Jackson's departure, which was
he said, if you're not going to marry me, I don't think I can stay here.
Right, he did.
And then he was like, well, why don't you come with me? And she was like, what about my job and my kids?
Yeah.
And he's like, what about in a couple of years when they all go to college? So I don't think they're done forever. I think they're done for now.
Yeah, because he did point out that Aiden is going to college soon, and that Elizabeth.
And she also said, like when he said, "Is it no? Is it no, not now, or no forever?" And she's like, she was kind of wishy-washy on it. She's like, "It's no, but like I don't think it's forever." I feel like they're kind of an end game for me, but let's say they could bring on somebody else. I do like her with Rick, so
yeah. All right, well, Also, Lucky wants to break the news to Aiden, and Liz has an idea about how to do it. So I guess we'll find out what that is.
Maybe when Aiden goes to college, Lucky will take him. Like maybe he'll escort him.
I hope Lucky, stays in his life and doesn't just like ghost again like he did before.
General Hospital has a habit of making everybody into deadbeat parents. You know that this is true.
Yeah, we know.
I think it's always very exciting to have your children very damaged by you abandoning them so that they can be more exciting on a soap opera.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about Michael and Christina. So Christina has a reunion with Michael before the custody hearing. Christina is upset about Willow and potentially taking the kids from Michael. And Michael informs her that Drew bought property in D.C. and could move there with Willow. And Christina knows how much is at stake here. And she points out that Willow is acting like she did with Shiloh with Drew. So we get another Shiloh mention, and I thought they dropped this, but
I'm sad. I wanted them to drop this.
We all want them to drop this.
Go away forever, Dawn of Day storyline. You were no good.
Yeah,
no good.
No more.
They're trying to redeem it somehow, maybe. I don't know. No good. No bueno.
No. All right, well, we'll get back to Sonny. Back at Sonny's place, Dante apologizes to Sonny for how he treated him when they first found out they were father and son.
Oh, God.
Sonny says he should put the focus on Gio now, and he still considers Lois a friend despite her lies. Lois shows up with Sonny to tell him goodbye because she's going back to Benton Search with Gloria because Brooklyn wants something to do with her. So, and then later, Sonny has a meeting with Maxie, who made an appearance this week. You don't see Maxie enough. I love Maxie.
I know. She should be on way more.
Mm-hmm. Maxie makes it clear that she needs Sidwell because she needs money to feed her children. So she says, if you have any other ideas about the zinc guy, let me know.
Well, he was like, well, how important am I versus Sidwell? And she's like, not very. She's like, your initial investment was great, but we need the zincite more than we need you, and we need your money. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Help me out. Figure out a way to get us out of this.
Right. All right. So we'll talk about Natalia and ADA Turner. So
ADA Turner hassling Anna.
Yeah. So we have Molly is at the police station. She takes herself off of Natalia's case because she still holds a grudge against her for how she treated Christina.
She walks in that room and she's like, basically, I hate you. And so I have to recuse myself.
I have to recuse myself, yeah. That was great. It was a good scene.
It was perfect.
Yeah. So Natalia's leaving Marco a voicemail, begging for his help. But he's busy talking to Sidwell about Sonny. ADA Turner is running in the park and I don't know if she overheard anything, but she sees Anna's conversating with Jason. And she's wondering what that's all about. And Anna and her start bickering, and she knows that she's going after Robert's job. So Robert needs to get back to Port Charles if he wants to keep his job. Like, where is he?
He's coming back. He always comes back. I love Robert. He'll be back. He didn't quit that job. He went on an extended vacation, and in Port Charles, you can do that for 2 to 3 years.
Right. True.
I want Scotty back, to be honest.
I want them both back.
I would love to see them both back. But I think it's time for Scott to come back to town.
I agree.
He should be healed up by now. When did he have foot surgery?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he was just bumming around Florida.
Maybe. All right. So ADA Turner drops some hints about going after Jason and Sonny before she goes to the police station, where she decides she's going to, talk to Natalia. So I think she's definitely going to try to make a deal with Natalia to get Sonny. So
it's kind of easy to do right now because Natalia is tanked.
Mm-hmm.
She is slurring all over the place.
Yeah,
I think it's
drunk.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny that she thinks she's super innocent of everything, and we know she's not. But she's sitting there in a white dress, like she's like this little angel, and she's drunk, and she was drunk driving. Her mistakes compound in the month of June. Oh no! Yeah. But yeah, I think she's got dirt on Sonny, so this is going to turn out to be terrible.
Okay, do you remember if Natalia knows about Kate's Jagger? Did he kill Jagger?
I don't think so. I don't think he told anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if she knew or not.
Would he say anything to anyone?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the only person he would tell about any of that would be Jason.
Yeah, I guess.
If he even told Jason. And he did, I think, because he needed his help hiding the gun.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So Sunny meets up with Anna, and he warns her. She warns him that 88 Turner is coming from it. Sunny isn't worried about it though.
I know. He's just like, yeah, I know, whatever. And she's like, no, you don't understand. Like he really like she is gunning for you. And he's like, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, good luck, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into the nitty gritty this week. The custody trial.
Oh, the big storyline.
Big storyline. So Rick sees that Diana's going to call Christina as a witness stand. And he calls Alexis and demands to get her out of there. Because Christina could say a lot of shit that can incriminate herself and incriminate him and Ava. So that was
she unpredictable, and she is volatile on stand. She's in a few cases she starts screaming and attacking people when she gets upset. Mm-hmm. No one in their right mind would ever call that woman as a witness.
Yeah, Diane also asked Jason to leave because she doesn't want the custody case to be open up to the incendiary device. So she told Jason to get out of there.
Yeah, because if they ask the question, like it opened, obviously Jason will say yes, no, and I'd plead the fifth, but it looks bad.
Right. Diane tells the judge that Michael is seeking sole custody of his children and offering Willow a $5 million divorce settlement. That's a lot of money.
Please give me a $5 million divorce settlement.
Right.
I'm not married, but I will marry you. And then in a year, we can get divorced for my $5 million divorce settlement. Right. It'll be amicable. We can still go to parties together. It's fine.
Yeah, Rick insists that Willow wants her children and makes it clear that she can't be bought. Carly takes a stand to testify about the nursery video and how Willow tried to leave with the kids soon after.
Mm-hmm.
There was some talk about Willow taking the kids across state lines for Drew's inauguration without Michael's permission.
Yep.
Chase also testified about Willow's previous infidelity with him. Rick was quick to make a point out that Willow cheated with Michael. So, there we go. As for Dante, Rick made him discuss the incendiary device and the injuries that he sustained. So it did come up. So it wouldn't have made a difference if Jason wasn't there.
No, I think it's better coming from the cop than from the mob enforcer. I also think Dante, as much as he has a hot temper and says dumb things, is really good on the stand. Notice that Dante didn't give any more information than was asked. He was very much yes, no, maybe so about all of his questions, and he wouldn't elaborate unless they asked him another question, and that's a good witness.
Yeah. So Diane does her best to downplay Michael killing Claudia.
And what weapon was that with?
Yes.
An axe? Sure. How do you downplay an axe?
It was involuntary manslaughter.
With an axe?
It was an axe? Sure.
Like, I think if it was any other weapon, you could be like, yeah, involuntary manslaughter. But like an axe is just like, come on.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember if that was the only thing lying around that he could use, or
they were like in the middle of nowhere. I think it was like a cabin. I very clearly remember him holding up that axe. So as soon as they brought that question up, I start cracking up because I was like, "Yep, with an axe."
So Tracy testifies, and she addresses the kidnapping drama. She, said, "Oh, I told Yuri to take the kids out for a drive." Well, did you kidnap them? Were you arrested for kidnapping? Yes.
But she also, remember, she put a good spin on everything, and she also yes-noed her way out of some of those questions.
She did.
This is not Tracy's first rodeo. She did great.
Yeah.
Although she's
very upset though about how Rick is handling the case, but Rick argues that Diane is just rehashing things they already know. So,
it's true.
Mm-hmm. Rick hinted about new info, and Nina looks very guilty. So we're pretty sure at this point that Nina told Rick about Sasha being pregnant with Michael's child. So since Christina can't testify, they need to find someone to testify in her place. And long and behold, it's Jocelyn, and her testimony was fantastic. And she
perfection. She did everything right.
did everything right, and Rick even tried to fool her, but you can't fool Carly's daughter. And she basically, I love when she said, "Oh, Willow said the only thing she cares about more than anything is Drew."
What happened next? Oh, I don't know. Drew busted into the bathroom. She was great. She was great. That woman can't even pee without that man turning up to control the conversation.
Willow,
Come on.
she got to Willow, though. Willow got angry. And she said,
Poor Willow.
Yeah, Willow was like, "You took that all out of context, and now you're ruining my chances of custody." And she was not happy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Jocelyn continues to make them look bad with threats about Michael losing his kids, which Drew has said.
Multiple times.
Multiple.
In public.
In public, yeah.
They should have asked every witness on that stand what Drew said about that, because he said it in front of all of them. He said it in front of Carly multiple times. Mm-hmm. I would have been like, and what did Drew say about taking away Michael's children? And did he specifically say it as Michael's children, not as keeping Willow's children? Because intent means something.
Right.
But the judge might have got cranky and been like, this is about Willow.
Yeah. So Michael then is called to the stand. He testifies about Willow's cult upbringing, and this is having a deeper effect on her than he realized. She is not making good decisions for the children, and she is doing Bill's will. Oh, sorry, Bill. Drew's will. There is talk about her leukemia diagnosis and Michael keeping the truth from Michael because she's very selfish, is what they were trying to say. She doesn't.
I don't know if they were trying to say she was selfish, more self-involved, like she's unable to see outside of herself. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know what he was really trying to say in that moment, other than that they kept secrets from each other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you disagree with me and agree with Derek, you can put that in the comments.
Yeah.
I respond.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I remember.
Rick brings up the dangerous environment that Michael grew up in his cross-examination, though. And the most recent, Michael got shot in the head as a child, which he brought up.
Why didn't they bring up how his brother died in an explosion?
They did not bring up Morgan, but they should have. And they also, the most recent is where Michael got badly burned. Rick also highlighted about the vengeful Michael, that when Michael was vengeful and went after Avery for custody.
He should have done that at that time.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm still on his side. I don't know why they backed off that storyline. I feel like he should have gotten custody. He would have had a much easier time splitting custody with Ava than Sonny does. And then when they had the next one, he should have just took Donna too. He should have been like, no more children for you, Sonny. Too many children that you're stealing from other places. You can't have any more of your own.
So Diane also brings up the fact that Willow made Drew the kid's legal guardian if anything ever happened to her.
Nobody knew that. That was a big thing.
So maybe that's what it was. But I feel like, I think your theory is right about the proxies.
My mom's theory.
Your mom, yeah.
I think my mom is right. I think it has a lot to do with getting control over ELQ. He seems determined to take everything Quartermaine and make it his.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's not a legitimate heir because he was, conceived outside of the marriage. So he's an affair baby. So he's not a legitimate heir unless Alan made him one, and Alan is deceased. So
yeah, Alan never knew about him. So
no,
exactly. So Michael testifies that he talked on the phone with his children because of Christina, and Will has made no effort to reach out to him. So Willow thinks he's lying, but obviously Michael knows that to be the truth.
Yeah.
So that little secret that Drew paid off the woman at the clinic did
not come out yet. No,
I was so hoping it would. Diane, I love Diane here. She was great. So good, where she presents the photos of Drew doing body shots with Lucinda. She plays the nursery sex tape.
Yeah, and then she apologizes to people for having to view it. I was like, perfection.
That was my favorite.
She's a good lawyer.
That was my favorite part of the trial.
Yeah, this is two good lawyers going up against each other. It makes it much more exciting.
And then when she said, "I rest my case," that was beautiful.
Yeah.
So then the trial takes a turn when Rick gets Sasha on the stand, and they talk about her previous relationship with Michael, and he asks her, when was the last time that you had sex with Michael? And the whole thing comes out about how they had sex the night before Halloween, and then it comes out, unfortunately, that he is the father of Sasha's baby. So,
I feel like this should have been a Friday reveal.
Yeah.
But it was not.
But Sasha is so upset that she started experiencing labor pain, and she has to deliver the baby right in the courtroom with Willow and Michael.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that should have been the Friday episode should have been her going into labor and then going to Monday and them deciding to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the trial should be longer.
Yeah. Well, the paramedics couldn't get there in time because something was blocked off. I guess the courthouse was blocked off or something.
I don't know. Sometimes when you go into labor like that, the baby just whoop, right out.
It was very fast. The baby came very fast.
Good for Sasha. No 12 hours of labor, 10 minutes, in and out.
It was literally very quick. Willow delivered Sasha's baby, and Willow was kind and supportive to Sasha during delivery, which ultimately resulted in her having a healthy baby girl, which was I was very happy about. I was very worried something would happen to the baby. So
I don't think they should do that to Sasha again.
You can't. I would stop watching if you stopped doing that to Sasha.
I'm never going to stop watching. You can do whatever you want, GH. I'll just complain more, but I'm not. I'm never going away, guys. I love you.
I wouldn't stop watching, but I'd be very upset.
You would send a strongly worded letter to ABC.
Michael has tears in his eyes when he meets his child with Sasha, and Willow sees the close moments between them. Michael thanks her, and it looks like it's the beginning of them coming to an agreement about the custody of the kids. You don't think It looks like, but we'll see.
Not going to happen.
Carly finds Nina outside the courtroom and confronts her and says that she's the one that told Rick about Sasha, and she's not happy about this. And then she flies into a rage and tells everyone there that Nina is the one that drugged Drew. Carly loves to expose everything, and it's fun.
No, but that was perfect. It was just perfect timing. I actually would have put Nina on the stand for that and asked her why she did it. Force her to say that she doesn't want her daughter with Drew.
Yeah,
that would. Except Diane has already rested her case, so
exactly. Yeah,
that's annoying to me.
Mm-hmm. Drew tries to blame Carly for the custody drama. And she throws the blame back in his face and points out that Nina made this move against him. Mm-hmm. So Carly knows for a fact that all this is going to bite Drew in the face. So we'll see.
I just want her sleeping with Drew to come out. And I don't know what. Sorry, guys. I have a fan on me. My hair keeps blowing in my face. I just wanted to come out that she slept with Drew. And it just seems to never be coming out. Everyone always talks about it. And we don't go anywhere with it. I want it to happen, but I want it to actually be big, not just we drop that announcement and then Willow convinces herself it was a non-issue and then we just move on. I don't want that again.
Yeah, true. All right, so let's talk about Curtis and Portia's little party. So we have Curtis and Portia. They try to bury their marriage issues for the day. They're hosting this family gathering that Marshall is at, which was great to see him.
Yeah, I was excited to see Marshall. He was so happy and laughy and coming in, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I like this.
Yeah, so Trina gets to introduce Kai, and they talk about football. And Kai praises Drew for his help, and Marshall and Curtis look at each other like, are you serious?
I know. This is kind of really the perfect example of you are different people to different people, because to everybody in that room, Drew is the root of all evil. And to Kai, it's the guy that helped him and he might be able to play football because of him. So he doesn't see the manipulative tactics underneath. He just sees the result.
And he's just a kid.
He's just a kid.
Yeah. But Curtis and Marshall later have a talk about Drew and Kai's faith in him, and they're hoping that Kai doesn't get screwed over, which he probably will.
We'll see. We shall see.
So Portia and Curtis, in a moment alone, they bicker about their marriage issues. Curtis suggests they he can't figure out where their marriage stands until he finds Jacinda to say that Drew hired her. But Carly kind of fucked that up already because
Yeah, what's the point in that? Like, that's just.
Well, he doesn't know yet that Carly outed.
Well, Nina better not like rat out Portia because at this point she's dropping everybody like onto the train tracks and driving the train herself over all the bodies. Like she's not getting what she wants in this scenario by doing that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but Kai overhears this and he's a little uneasy about it. So we'll see how that turns out. All right, so Curtis also tells Marcia about Portia lying to him, and Marshall thinks that he needs to give her a second chance, and that he couldn't give Jordan.
This is the problem with Curtis, because Curtis is like, you're a one and done. Like, you make a mistake and everything's over forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's too rigid. He's never going to be happy if he thinks like that all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when he thinks his own mistakes are fine. But Portia's and Jordan's were like, it was kind of nice to see Curtis acknowledge that Jordan was only keeping secrets for the job and he really had no right to that information. I thought that was a big growing up moment for him.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Curtis. I kind of wish Curtis was in the WSB.
Yeah, he has a knack for it, for sure.
I think he'd be a good agent.
Yeah. Jordan then pays a visit to Curtis and he opens up about the whole Jacinda mess and Portia's involvement in drugging Drew. Jordan hopes that Curtis and Portia can work things out, and his priority is making sure his wife is safe from Drew first before he can make any moves. So, all right, so we'll talk about after the custody hearing. Nina arrives at Drew's house and threatens to rat her out. She threatens to rat him out about the drugging drama to Willow. And then Nina says if she does that, then she's going to expose their little sexapades and make Drew lose Willow for good. So I feel like Nina has more ammunition on Drew because once Willow finds that out, then she's not going to be too.
I don't know, because it just seems like anytime somebody says something bad about Drew, she just hears it, glazes over, and then has unheard it.
Right.
So while I would love for her to do that and for Willow to be extremely upset, I don't know if it'll happen.
I think more than one thing has to come out for her to really turn against Drew.
It has to be like several punches in a row.
Yes, that's what's gonna take. It's gonna take the Nina and Drew thing. It's gonna take the fact that he paid off the lady at the clinic, and also what was the other one? There's one more. Losing her kids.
Yeah,
if she loses her kids, yes. Because of whatever.
I want Michael to win this custody hearing so bad. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be Willow. I don't know, but I don't want it to be. But yeah, I think she needs to get several blows. Otherwise, like if she does win, she's probably just going to take those kids and go to DC. Washington. Yeah, DC. Mm-hmm. So then what's the point in that?
Yeah. So Nina thinks the best thing is a custody agreement for now, and Drew wants to move to DC with Will as soon as possible, and so he's going to ensure that they get full custody. So we'll see, Drew.
I also think if Drew tries to get full custody, though, Alexis will sue him, like when they try to move to DC, for visitation to Scout.
Yeah, he's not going to get away with that.
No, I don't think he can just up and run like that, considering he wasn't even a big part of Scout's life for most of it.
Yeah. Sonny arrives at G8 and meets his new granddaughter, Daisy. Michael apologizes for deceiving him and about Tasha's pregnancy, and Sonny suggests that he needs to compromise with Willow. So, Cody,
shut up, Sonny. You never would have compromised. Like you, do as I say, not as I do. Sonny Corinthos, probably.
Yeah. So we have Cody stops by to see Sasha and Daisy, and later has a bonding session with Molly by the Metroport pool, and they mention Britt and how he first came into town. So we got our first Britt mention.
Yay!
So we'll talk about this in speculation, but I don't know how they're going to bring Britt back, or if they're going to bring back, or if it's a lookalike.
I think it's easy. This is a soap. We can do whatever we want.
Well, there's
Except
a lot
mess with the timeline easily without us getting really angry with you.
Yeah. So I also love when Felicia said to Carly, "You should thank Willow," and she thank you. for delivering my granddaughter.
In her head, she was like, if I had the option to stab you to death in front of all these nice people, I would do that.
You like how Felicia has kind of stepped into the Bobby role for Carly.
Yeah, but Bobby was way more vindictive than these writers seem to be remembering. Like Bobby, like this is the one thing when you age on a soap, you go from being like Carly to being like how Sonny acts now. Like he was always a reasonable person. Bobby was not a reasonable person when she was younger, and she had a lot of unreasonable moments even when she was older. So like Felicia, if she wants to step it up and act like Bobby, she's got to cause way more problems.
Yeah.
And Spencer's always stand with Spencer's. So like if Carly said she hated Willow, Bobby hates Willow.
Right. Will does keep things cordial with Carly, and so she hints to Felicia about Carly not realizing Michael was going to lose custody feud now that the secret's out. So Willow thinks she's going to win.
When she's being courteous to everybody in that scene, Derek, did it not seem to you like she was slipping back into like delusional mode?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Yeah. So I say this every week. Willow and Drew are delusional.
No, I mean, you really see it though. You're not wrong. Like you see it in her face, like the way, first off, impeccable acting. Like the way she just kind of glazes over and like you know how Christina does when accountability comes near her and she's like, I think that Willow does the same thing. Willow's just like, but now that I did one nice thing today, everyone's going to realize that the kids belong with me because I am their mother, and there's no other reason someone should have children than that they are the mother of the children.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, in reality, you're with a man that's untrustworthy, that we have footage of him being untrustworthy, and that weighs in the eyes of the court.
Right.
The home environment is important.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so Jason visits with Sasha, and she asks him to be Daisy's godfather, which was really sweet. Carly pops in also and visits Sasha and the baby as well. Carly confronts Jason over his lies, and he explains to her that she wouldn't be able to keep the secret, and he is right. Carly would not have been able to keep the secret.
She knew that. She knew that halfway through the conversation. She's like, "You're right."
I forget what she said, but it was like the perfect. She's like, "Yeah, you're right." I wouldn't have been able to do it.
She's like, you would have gotten too excited. You would have wanted to get too involved. I know you, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether. Well, she said something like, "I don't know whether they'd be mad at you or and she's like,
or yeah, she's mad because she likes to be in on the know, but she understands why.
Exactly. Yeah. So Nina makes her way to the hospital, and she comes clean to Sasha about telling Rick about the paternity of her baby. And I was surprised by this. It was a very interesting development, and I was even more surprised that Sasha forgave her.
I did not understand that at all.
Yeah.
If it had been me in that situation and someone that I trusted and considered like a secondary mother figure, considering my mother is Holly and she's never done a day of mothering in her life, like she felt like this woman was a mother figure to her and she betrayed her for her real daughter. Like I think that should have been a much bigger situation.
Yeah. She does warn her that Willow is continuing to make bad decisions with Drew in the picture. So, yes, she is. Michael leaves to bring Wiley and Amelia to the hospital to meet their new baby sister. And soon they arrive, and Wiley asks Willow if Willow can come with them. Michael, Wiley, Willow, and Amelia are all peering at the baby. And they look like a family they used to be. And then a furious Drew witnesses the moment. And that was a great end of the week. I love that, seeing Drew's face. It was great.
Well, he's just such a control freak. Yeah, it was a bad moment for him. He feels like he's lost control of the situation.
Oh, yeah. You could tell in his face that it was like, I'm losing control. And he was not happy about it at all. All right. So any other thoughts about this week or anything I missed?
I don't know. For me, it was like a very uneven week. I feel like the trial could have been the entire week. Like it was short for me. I wanted more from that. I wanted more dramatic scenes in the courtroom. I like when people get dragged out and stuff, and I love a court battle. Also, part of what I always say on the show is like it's General Hospital, but we're never at the hospital. This was a baby delivery. We could have got it done at the hospital or in the like on the way to the hospital. We could have had some hospital involvement in the storyline, and it's just as usual. We're on the one floor in the one room that they have.
Right.
And it's after they already had the baby.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a little uneven. Like Lucky just being like, "Oh, you won't marry me? I guess I'll go." Was kind of like proving Liz's point that he would never have stayed because the moment something got hard or difficult for him, he decided to bounce.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think you missed anything. Rick was on last week, right? Bringing the breakfast to Liz. Was that last week or this week?
I think it was last week.
Yeah. So like, I think they're probably going to move Liz more towards Rick, and that's going to be an issue for Ava. And I just really need them to kind of start some new storylines.
Yeah.
Wrap them up, kids.
All right. Well, Karen and I are going to head over to Patreon for some speculation, and we'll talk about the recent casting news that happened this week with Jonathan Jackson leaving and Kelly Theobald returning as Britt, or not Britt, maybe a new character. Britt. We're not sure. But we also have a clip of the week to watch this week. So the nominees are Lucky tells Liz the truth about the accident. Natalia gets arrested. Rick tears Sasha apart on the stand. And Nina confesses the truth to Sasha about her role in exposing the paternity of her child. So please come join us on Patreon. Also, I want to say, please check out our Patreon because we're doing a lot of great things on there. We're doing an All My Children watch from 1991, the Janet Natalie Wells storyline. We have episodes of Santa Barbara, Sunset Beach, Guiding Light coming out soon. Also, Tommy and I are doing the One Life to Live storyline with Billy Douglas coming out, Ryan Phillippe. So really, really.
Is that because he's not brave enough to do Casey the Alien with me?
He wants to do Casey the Alien.
People keep hassling us until we do Casey the Alien. If you want to see a storyline that doesn't make any sense, but sure was fun, and I'm probably remembering wrong, so you'll get to see the drama of me shocked. We should probably do Casey the Alien.
I would like to watch it.
I'm not that much older than Robin, so like, yeah, I was about the right age to be watching Casey the Alien when she was a little girl. So it's probably horrible. It's like Starman, but bad, probably.
All right, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.